Mulan, the original animated version, came out in 1998, and since the 2020 version was pushed back indefinitely, and who knows when it'll come out now, I thought it'd be cool to take this weekend, which is when it was originally going to come out, and talk about the film that inspired it. In fact, that's something I'm going to be doing throughout the summer. For films that were pushed back or delayed or canceled, I'm going to be talking about a film that kind of relates to that movie. And I thought that'd be a fun way to sort of fill in the void that I know a lot of movie fans are feeling. I know I am. So for instance, No Time to Die was going to come out at the beginning of April. So the beginning of April, I'm going to talk about some Bond movies. I'm going to surprise you guys with some picks. And I'll do that throughout the rest of the year when a film was originally going to come out. Not for everyone that was pushed back, obviously. There'll be a select few that I do this for. And the first one's going to be Mulan. I just thought it'd be a fun way to sort of fill this gaping hole that I know a lot of us are feeling right now. So when China is overrun by invaders, men across the land are ordered to join the army and fight against the invaders. But in the case of Mulan's family, her father is the only man. But he's old, weak, and injured, so Mulan runs off in the night, pretends to be a man, and takes his spot. In so doing, she learns how to fight and bring honor to her family. I remember the first time I saw Mulan. I was only 10 years old, and it was at a small theater in Akron called the Linda Theater. It's still there. It started in like 1948. It's been part of Akron for a very long time. It's sort of an Akron staple. There's only one screen. It's a tiny little theater. My mom took me there, and I have a very distinct visual image of the incredible snowscape battle sequence, specifically the army materializing on the top of the ridge, realizing just how many of them there are. Interestingly, later in life, my wife and I were talking about this movie because it's one of her favorites, and it just so happens that she saw it for the first time at the Linda Theater as well. It probably wasn't the same showtime, but we just thought that was such a strange coincidence that we both went to this tiny little theater. That's pretty much the only time I've ever been to the Linda Theater. And it's memories like that that have made this movie special to me, and it's one of the reasons why I haven't watched the movie in many, many years, because I was afraid of tarnishing those memories. My memory of the rest of the movie was mostly the music, so I wanted to refresh myself, and I rewatched the film, and I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to like it anymore. But surprisingly, Mulan holds up really well. This is a beautifully, obviously animated movie, back when Disney still cared about hand-drawn animation. This came out in Disney's Renaissance period. You had stuff like Aladdin, Lion King, Toy Story, and this film, and it's just as gorgeous and breathtaking as some of those movies. And I was pleasantly surprised how well this movie holds up today. The battle sequences are still really epic. Jerry Goldsmith's score is still amazing. The songs, for the most part, still really hold up. There's one song in the movie I'm not a big fan of. It's the end credits song, True to Your Heart. It's not that the song itself is a problem. Detached from the movie, listening to that song is great. In fact, Stevie Wonder is legitimately one of my favorite artists ever. I love him. I love all of his music. And so for me to say this, it's basically because I just don't really think it fits in with the tone of how the film is ending. It's this very serious movie. It has a lot of somber scenes, surprisingly, for a Disney animation. And it's all of a sudden this really upbeat, poppy song that seems like it would be on Kiss FM. It just doesn't really fit in. It's kind of like that song at the end of Batman Mask of the Phantasm. This dark, brooding, amazing movie with Shirley Walker, rest in peace, her incredible score. And then there's like this romantic ballad all of a sudden at the end of the movie. It just doesn't fit in. Sometimes a song can be perfectly fine. It's just about the placement in the film in regards to tone. Since we're on negatives, I do want to talk about a few things in the film I don't really like. I'm fine with Eddie Murphy as Mushu. In fact, I like him quite a bit. But his appearance and the weird, jokey tone with the ancestor ghosts just feels so jarring. The first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie are really good and very dark. Mulan cutting off her hair and running off into the night, stealing her father's armor. It's so fucking epic. And then all of a sudden there's this little red dragon and a ghost that lost his head, and it feels so Disney all of a sudden. Where a lot of this movie feels like it's trying not to be Disney. In fact, it's one of the first movies, I think maybe the first movie, where the Disney princess kills people. So obviously the movie explores warfare as well. There's some really, really dark stuff in the film. But to have these jokey scenes and her cute little animal pal sometimes takes away from what could have been a much more serious movie. But I understand Disney wasn't ready and still isn't ready today to make Grave of the Fireflies. They probably never will be. And honestly, those are my only negatives in the film. I love the character, Mulan. I love her journey. I think she's a really investing character. She's somebody I actually care about a lot in the film as an animated character. Her voice work is great. Really, all the voice work is really top-notch. The villain's really badass. The action sequences are fun, although I wish there were more of them. And there's one moment in Mulan that is one of the best Disney moments I will say I've ever seen. And it's because it kind of just stops your heart. Everyone's singing. It's like this montage trek sequence where they're just marching across the mountains. It's really upbeat and really fun. And then everyone just stops because they come across a ravaged village with tons of dead bodies and burnt down homes. And that's a signal that there's not going to be any more singing in this movie. I completely forgot about that moment rewatching the film, and it was really powerful. See, this is a movie that I find very entertaining and a story that I like a lot. But for my wife, it was different for her as an 8-year-old girl at that time. She was able to see something that had a girl in an animation doing something awesome. She has to go through pretending to be a man at a point to get there. But once she's, spoilers, I guess, if you've never seen Mulan, once she's found out, she's left alone and she's back where she started. She's got to do the rest on her own. So for a lot of young girls, this was an important movie, but it didn't alienate men from the audience either, because anyone can watch this movie and enjoy it. It's extremely inclusive. And I love that about Mulan. It's a beautifully animated movie with great music. Don't love the placement of the end song in the film. Sometimes Mushu is a bit too funny for everything else that's going on, but for a film that tackled warfare in a Disney movie and that had a message that was important, Mulan succeeded for me. I'm going to give Mulan a B+. Whenever we do get to see the new Mulan, I'll be excited to see that because I actually think it looks really good. I like that they're making a film. It doesn't seem like it's a shot-for-shot Disney live-action remake. It doesn't seem like there's any singing either. So I am excited to see that movie, and I hope that it's good whenever we get a chance to see it. So like I said, stay tuned for the rest of the year. In various weekends where a film was going to be released, I'll try to review a film that sort of relates to that movie. It's just a fun way to sort of pretend like the movie's still there. In a weird way. But I actually want to give a shout out to a filmmaker friend of mine. His name is Adam McDonald. He directed the movie Backcountry as well as Pie Wacket and the 3rd season of the show Slasher, which is on Netflix right now. I believe Backcountry is currently on Netflix as well. I'm giving him a shout out because he reached out to me and he let me know that due to the craziness in the world right now, he's actually lost out on a lot of filmmaking jobs this year. Jobs that were going to help him pay his bills. And a lot of people are in that position right now. But he also runs a YouTube channel where he talks about cooking and he gives cool little life hacks and things you can do that can help you out, especially now in this time. So if you want to give his channel just a watch, check out some of his videos, support his films. I think it might help him out during this time. There's a link for his channel in the description below. Thank you guys so much as always for watching. Definitely check out his channel and some of his films if you get a chance, because I do think he's a really good filmmaker. Guys, thank you as always. If you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmannized.